What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 16th day of September, and here we are sitting at about $115,000. We've got about 9 hours left in the day, just under that. And I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's kind of looking like we might not go lower. I was looking at some of the shorter time frame stuff, and it has me convinced we might be finding support. But it really does, I think, depend on what we do today and over the next couple of days. I was very much expecting that we would either pump or dump going into the FOMC meeting, but it looks like we're just indecisive. We're indecisive, right? We made the move up, and now we're just waiting for it to happen. That's probably what's going on, right? We're gonna wait until today's over. We're gonna wait until tomorrow happens, until the announcement happens, and then we'll probably make our move. I'm assuming what will happen is we probably do go lower because once the good news comes out that the Federal Reserve is cutting rates, interest rates, we will see the market kind of correct as a result of that, and it will be good news. It'll be good for the midterm and the long term for risk on assets to grow. Risk on assets like crypto and other commodities and stocks and stuff like that. It'll be a clear signal that things are going to continue to grow. But oftentimes, once you receive good news, that news is already priced in, and then we correct back to reality, right? So news is already priced in. We've moved up. I would have thought that we'd move higher. There's all these kind of inconsistencies in the logic on the charts here. I mean, we didn't hit the golden ratio. We found resistance here twice, and now we're back below the 0.5, but we're not moving lower. Like, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere's land here. What I will say is we're finding resistance right now, it seems, just at this prior area of support and right here at this prior area of resistance as well. I would think, looking at this, that we go lower. But you look at the 1 hour time frame, and there's some inconsistencies with that too that make me think that we could bounce from here and we could go higher. Let's go over that. Let's see what kind of conclusion we can have by the end of this video. If you're watching this video now and you're thinking, okay, so he's saying it's going up, or if you're watching this video now and you're thinking, okay, so he's saying it's going down, understand you're not listening, because no, I haven't. I don't know. I don't know. I've said both of those things, right? I've said both those things as of now. I really don't know. I've seen things in the 1 hour time frame that make me think that we're going to bounce from here and go higher. I've also seen, looking at the daily time frame here, things that make sense of the price going lower, right? Because we are 1 day away from this FOMC meeting. Let's try and divulge as much information as we can and go over this. Okay, 1 hour time frame here. Oh, hold on, let me fix this. We don't have any of our indicators. There we go. 1 hour time frame here, looking at the RSI. It's very neutral. Unfortunately, that's not helpful. What I can say is that we do have higher lows and higher highs. That's nice, right? Higher lows and higher highs, but we're breaking out of it, so that's not nice. I don't know. It's still a higher low overall, but consistent with this low, it is a lower low. We do have higher lows here. We have some solid wicks here. It's like you're trying to break out. If you put this little area as an area of support, where you found support here, support there, really throughout all this, you broke through but didn't go lower. You got a lot of volume, but you didn't break out. Your breakout's not breaking, right? But then we look at the stochastics, and the stochastics make me bearish. You know, you've got lower lows in the RSI, but higher lows in the price. It's hidden bullish divergence. You do have that also on the stochastics, but you're rejecting the 50. It looks like twice. Your MACD crossed above the 0, but now you're coming back down. That's not a good result. I don't know. If I was looking at the 1 hour, the price alone makes me bullish, but the indicators altogether would make me bearish. So I'm going to stick with the downside for now. That's the perspective we're taking, is the downside. Let's go to the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame here. I mean, we've clearly broken out of our uptrend as of now, right? We still have higher lows overall, but we've clearly broken out of our uptrend as of now, I would say. I think it's abundantly clear that that's what's happened. So we're probably going to go lower, right? That'd be my expectation. You hit the overbought zone, come down, cool off, hit the 40 or the oversold area, right? The 40, because we have found support right there previously. We found support in this area, but whenever we found support here, both times it took us to the overbought zone. Here it did not. That's a different signal. That tells me that we're going to go lower. It's not always this cut and dry, but this is just how I'm interpreting it right now, okay? Stochastics look bearish because we're rejecting the 50 consistently. You're not getting oversold. You're reluctant to get there. You're definitely reluctant to move down, but it's as if you're showing your hand before it happens. So I'm sticking with this idea that we move to the downside. The MACD looks bullish overall, but bearish right now. You could go lower into tomorrow, bounce off the 0 line, or even see these oscillators go a little bit below the 0 line. That's fine. I really think that, you know, looking at this here, we're starting to formulate the idea, the thought, something that I said earlier in this video at the very beginning, which is that I think we're just frozen until the meeting. I think that's what's happening. I think there's a lot of anticipation. A lot of people perceive this rate cut negatively and positively. There's multiple ways to look at this, right? You go back in time and you can see that some of the more recent rate cuts that we've had in Bitcoin's history and in the stock market history, that those have resulted in immediate corrections across the board. But if you go back further in time, there's been rate cuts that have, and even I think the most recent one, technically the literal most recent one in November and September, or was it September and November or just November? I can't remember. That rhymed. There are rate cuts that don't result in the market crashing and actually result in the market going up. There are rate hikes that don't result in the market crashing, that result in the market going up. But there's some of this, some of that for both of them. It's like a 50-50 split. The reality is rate cuts or hikes aren't what drive the price higher. It's the extremeness of them. It's the level of what these movements in the interest rates are. If we cut at a low level, we slowly cut, that's good. Why is that good? It's because the Fed, whenever they cut at a slow rate, means that they're in control, that the economy is healthy, that it doesn't need intervention from them. Whenever we get rate cuts at a very high velocity, it's something that's like we go from, I don't know, 4.2%, 4.5% one day, and then the next month we're at 1.5%. That means they're doing something drastic because drastic action needs to be taken, and that always shakes the markets up, no matter if it's a rate cut or a rate hike. But I digress. I would bet we just move sideways. I'd bet that between now and the end of this day, we're not going to be doing much at all. Could we go a little bit lower? Could we go back down to 114.8K? Sure. But I'm under the impression now, maybe what we do get before the announcement tomorrow, maybe what we do get is some kind of last little fake out to the upside that hits that golden ratio, and then we correct. Maybe we get something like that, but I'm not expecting anything dramatic. Where we were thinking of 120K, 122K before, I don't think that we're going to get that. I don't even know if this is promised, but I'm just saying if we get to the golden ratio, if we see prices above 117K to 118K, maybe even 118.9K, if we see prices in that area, I don't think that's a signal that we're moving higher. Like, I think we just moved higher and we're getting ready to drop going into tomorrow's announcement. That's my expectation. So if we see a quick flush to the upside over the next 8 hours, or really I guess it'd be over the next 20 hours, I wouldn't buy into it, if that makes sense, right? Maybe go short into it. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Stay away from leverage trading, kids. The areas of support that we're looking for would be anything from about 113.5K, and I think that's very clear as to why, because we have prior resistance here on a wick, right? A little bit of support back here. It's a pretty clear area. It's also right at the 382, which going from the 0.5 to the 382, hey, it's healthy enough. That would be a clear signal that we're ready to go higher. That actually, by the way, if and when we go down here, understand that the golden ratio won't hold us back. We're likely going to go up to 120 to 122K real quick. Okay, next week we should be ripping and rallying if things go the way I think they're going to go. If we go lower than that, the only other area that I would consider would be, maybe here where we've got these daily high closes, daily low support areas, and resistance areas here, and that's at about $112,000. So something between $113.5, $112,000 itself. I wouldn't expect that we close below this 382. Ideally, we would not close below this level, but we could wick below it, right, in the midst of tomorrow's velocity or volatility. We could, and then come back up and close above it. So if we see prices below 113K, don't panic. That's really the moral of that message there. We not certainly will we go below there, but it's very possible that we could go below 113K. It's possible that we hit 113.5K, 113.3K right on the money, and then we bounce from there. But I would expect that tomorrow generates this kind of breakout of this area. And I mean, if it's intense enough, maybe we find enough support and we just really rally. I don't know, but I would think that we probably, between tomorrow and the end of this week, we probably just continue to consolidate. We're probably not going to see any too much excitement until next week. All right. And with that being said, 8 hours, 44 minutes left in the day. I don't expect any excitement. If we get excitement to the upside, don't buy into it. If we get excitement to the downside, I mean, I'd be kind of surprised. I think we're just waiting. We look at the daily RSI. So the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frame are inherently bearish, I would say. Suggestively bearish. Overall, there's very bullish signs. You're reluctantly bearish, but momentarily, yes, the strength is to the downside. The daily time frame here, I think the RSI, same kind of concept, right? Overall, very bullish, getting into the overbought zone, not getting into the oversold zone, but just right here, come down a little bit more. Find support at the 55 or the 50. You've done that before. It's not a problem, but it allows you to go lower. Stochastics here, you can come down a little bit, and that's fine. Maybe you find support just below the overbought area. That's fine. And then the MACD, looking like it wants to cross above the 0, but it hasn't yet. It will soon enough. You could, stall a little bit here. That's not a problem, right? As long as we're not getting a serious rejection, we're not closing prices below 113,000, 113.5 thousand, I think we're fine. But I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I very much believe at the end of the month here in September and going into October, the end of October, things are going to be very bullish. I got nothing else. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.